My name is Rahul Tyagi. I'm a master's student at Johns Hopkins Information Security Institute. It's a small institute where we have a specialized course relating to information security. We have a couple of good people. Owen Casey was very good in forensics, Avi Rubin. I'm working on this independent project of mine called as Next Generation Credit Card Security, and wanted to discuss this with you guys so that it's still in infancy, and so I wanted to get some feedback as to how can I improve it further. So, yeah, about me, master student, I like to do some independent research of my own. I'm working on this and developing a mobile forensics manual so that people in the law enforcement field can actually use it, because we have different platforms like BlackBerry, iPhone, Android is coming up in the market, and you don't have a specific set of procedures as to in what condition, how should you proceed for the forensics. So my basic belief is that you need to keep security simple, because if you create it complex, people are going to find ways and you're going to end up in nothing. So before I start with the presentation, I want to say that I'm not a crypto professional, neither am I a very genius mathematician. So, and also I'm the only person who's working on this project. So, and this CREDITSEC, it's mainly aimed at securing the credit card data at the database level, not at the while the credit card is in the transition. So basically, you have lots of incidents wherein hackers get into the database and getting the credit card numbers. So the basic, okay. So there are a couple of places that we use our credit card numbers: point of sale terminals, online shopping websites. One interesting thing about credit card numbers is they're not random. Few of the digits are based on the banks that issue them and what type they are using. So Visa, MasterCard. So let's get into anatomy of credit card numbers first. So you have different issuers: American Express, Visa, MasterCard, Discover, and there's an identifier that uniquely identifies these issuers, so that let's say you have a Visa. So if you have a credit card number or debit card number, it will start with 4 if it's a Visa card. And also you have different credit card number lengths based on the issuer that you have. So basically the last digit is the check digit, which is computed on the basis of all other digits in the credit card number. It's based on Lund's algorithm. The first 6 digits, the first 6 digits, I'll come to that. First few digits of the credit card number are specific to the financial institution or the bank that is issuing it, and after that it's the account number and the bank number. So the first 6 digits are specific to the financial institution that's issuing. So let's in case of Bank of America, for debit card, it usually starts with 4. The first 6 digits, 47, starts with 474477. So that's for a debit card issued by Bank of America, it's usually 47. It's 474477. So those 6 digits are fixed. So with that, you can have possibly millions of issuers that can issue a credit card number. The maximum length of the credit card number can be 19 digits. So digits from 7 to n-1, the last digit being calculated on the basis of the other digits that are there. So you can basically have up to 1 trillion possible account numbers. I mean the remaining, starting from 7 till the 18th, because the maximum credit card numbers in individual numbers in a credit card number can be 19. So and it's for this for 1 billion combinations that are there, it's for the credit card numbers that have 16 digits. So a few facts about how the credit card numbers are being rapidly used in e-commerce. and which each passing year the trend is growing, the sales growing into billions of dollars. With some alarming situation, hackers are on the rise, targeting financial institutions, especially in regards to the financial data, credit card numbers, CVV numbers, personally identifiable information. So this is a video.
All right. So what if your credit card number was stolen, but nobody told you? Now, the Wall Street Journal is reporting that some of the retailers targeted in this huge credit card ripoff announced last week never notified customers once the scheme was uncovered.
So how can you protect yourself if you don't even know you're a victim? We welcome back Dominic Tavella from Diversified Financial Consultants.
Hey, Dave, Liz, how are you?
Fine, thanks. This actually happened to me. And where a credit card was canceled, I didn't realize it because I wasn't told by the store in which apparently my number had been used, but I was told by the credit card company. The store doesn't like to admit that it happened.
40 million credit card numbers were stolen electronically, not going through the garbage pail, electronically. 40 million card numbers were stolen, and half the stores didn't even bother notifying their customers.
Now, where were these customers located? What states? Do we know? Were they in the South? Were they in the West? Where were they?
We heard some of them were coming out of South Carolina, but I think it's more a problem that the thing was done electronically, where a computer was sending the information wirelessly to another computer, and the data was literally stolen.
And these were people from the former Soviet satellite states of the Ukraine and such, right? Who 11, I think.
Some there, some in the U.S., some out of China, but this has become a global problem. And again, the days of somebody going through the garbage pail and getting a carbon receipt, I mean, that still happens. That's not the problem.
We were showing video of Office Max. Office Max, despite the fact that it's pretty obvious what happened, they released a statement saying, quote, "We have no knowledge of a security breach at Office Max." How can they say that?
Well, it's amazing. They actually were approached by the feds. They said, this is the problem. This is what's going on. This is how we've identified it. And they said, well, we reviewed our systems. We didn't find anything, so we're not going to notify anybody.
40 states have put in rules and laws saying, look, you have to disclose. But really, what's the enforcement mechanism?
So let's skip a bit. The other part is not that important. So here are a few important stats in regards to the identities that are stolen in U.S. Well over 100,000 identities every year are stolen in U.S. And so there's an alarming situation, and we don't have a foolproof mechanism as to how we should prevent these, especially in case of credit card, because it poses a huge financial loss to the institutions. So these are a few recent examples. The Apple website being hacked, and few usernames and databases. Although it was a survey website of Apple, but still this security group called Lud Security, they actually posted everything on a torrent website. So how do we secure credit card numbers today? So basically, most of the industry accepted standard is PCI. So what they actually say is, in layman's term, is basically whenever you are storing a credit card number, just store it at the minimum unreadable anywhere in the database. So what they want is you need to store the credit card numbers in an unreadable form. Either you can do it, you do hashes of it, you store. You can store them using encryption and using associated keys, do truncation. But the problem is, I mean, even the hashes and all that, they are human readable, so based off characters, and people have started making rainbow tables. But so I talked to a few people, and what they actually told me is that in industry practice, the companies, they don't actually make hashes and store them in a credit card number. It's usually they make use of keys, and they make sure that the perimeter security, the database is secure. So that's one thing that we rely on. So there are a couple of threats in regards to the data modification. You can take an example of credit card transaction being taking place, and data theft, and also a data disruption. So these can be adapted to network attacks also, and credit card attacks. So few of the vendors, especially Oracle, they usually are coming up with solutions which tells that they are making their database foolproof. But the problem is you need to store the keys somewhere or the other, and the biggest problem is if the key is compromised, everything's gone. So so how do we make it impossible for the bad guys? So the basic underlying principle is, is somewhat like a lock and a key. So even if someone gets the key to the lock and they get inside the house, all they would see is useless data or human unreadable data, so which they cannot use it to the convenience. So a bit introduction about CREDITSEC. It doesn't do any sort of encryption or decryption. It doesn't actually store any sort of keys anywhere. So you're saved on that because you don't need to keep the keys secret somewhere. Plus it's human unreadable. So even if the database is compromised somehow or the other, you are pretty sure that, it's not going to be of much harm to you. So the underlying principle for this credit card security CREDITSEC is 7-segment LED display and how the digits are displayed in a 7-segment display. Just keep in mind, and I'll about this and we'll talk further about it. So how actually it works? So basically here we have credit card number. It starts with initially the 6 digits are uniquely identified for a particular issuer. So all this stuff goes into the algorithm, and the other things that are implicit that goes into the algorithm is the credit card number as a whole, the individual digits of the credit card number, 5588, the metadata associated with the credit card number. Let's say you have 5 over here, so the metadata associated with this would be the value 5 and the position at which it is located, so it would be 5 and 1. And also one more thing that goes into the algorithm, which I forgot to mention over here, was let's say we are generating an image, so what you get as an output is something like this. So let's say you are generating an output for the first digit. So all these things would be taken into consideration in the algorithm. Apart from that, the other digits that are there in the credit card number, it's that also goes into the algorithm. So I'm sorry. Okay, so you guys must be thinking like, let's say example of another credit card. This here starts with 5. This here starts with 5. So, but these values for each of the credit card number changes. So the individual digits. Okay, this would be these would be different because it's 5490, so something different, and the metadata is also different. So let's say if someone wants to attack it, so let's say we have a number here, and let's say the attacker wants just flips the bit 8 to changes 8 to 9. So you would see a change in the output image, not as in only for the output image generated for 8, but the overall output image that is generated. So I'll explain you a few things about how. So because all these things are unique for each credit card number, and so that ensures that the output that gets generated is unique. So even if someone wants to brute forces or do some sort of attack in regards to changing the credit card numbers, individual digits, and seeing what the output might be, it would be completely random to him. So how does it work? Let's say how exactly does it work? So basically you have let's say there's a customer who's trying to purchase an item on a website, let's say from Amazon.com, and it's his second purchase. So what usually Amazon does is it usually stores, there's an option wherein you can just do a one-click purchase wherein you enter your credit card details once, and then you don't have to re-enter it again. So the output image that is generated initially when first the customer makes the first transaction, what happens is, when the next time the customer is doing a transaction, the credit card number is inputted, and all that's on the client side. It goes to the algorithm and it generates an image. So and then the images are compared. If they match, then the transaction goes through. Otherwise, no. So the thing is, you don't need, and also, I mean, it's like in the database, you just need to create a relationship between let's say a name and a corresponding image. So this, because you need to, I mean, you need to, for doing the actual comparison, you need to make sure that the user that is entering the database, that's the one for whom the image is being compared to. So as I told you, the input that goes into the credit card number algorithm is the credit card number, the individual digits, and the metadata, as I mentioned, the position of each of the number. The output you get is a human unreadable. It's some sort of, you can actually say one-way visual hash. So you cannot, even if you have the hash, you cannot get back the image. So, and it's stored in the database without need for encrypting it or storing the cryptographic keys. So it basically, sorry. So so how do you, I mean, let's say you have an image generated. So if I were a normal user, I mean, I was a hacker that gets into a database. So if at the primary stage, if I want to know like what are the numbers, what the numbers could be. So I can say that this is 8, this is 8, 6, 5, something like that. So, but I'm not sure like what exactly the number would be. And one of the parameters that the algorithm uses to differentiate between this and this is the spacing. It's not the only thing that uses to differentiate between this and this. There are few things, but tweaking those, still it's not complete. It's still, I'm tweaking it, so it will take time. So, and so one of the factors that ensures that the output image that is generated for each of the credit card numbers is unique. There are few properties of one-way hash. It's infeasible to generate a message if you have a corresponding hash, and it makes it even difficult if you are dealing with an image. So it's pretty impossible to actually get the credit card number back. And it's, let's say if, like I said, if someone tries to modify a message by changing, let's say, one of the digits of the credit card number, so the output image that you would get would be completely different, and it would be different in regards to, let's say, so for this, if I change 5 to, let's say, 4, so you can expect what the algorithm ensures is that the image for 55588, it also changes in regards to changing the bit over here, because not only it depends on the individual numbers, it also depends on the other numbers that are changed. So if it's changed to 4, so that would impact what the output image for 5 is generated for. So that's one thing. Okay, and since and it's also infeasible to find 2 different messages with the same visual hash, same credit. So basically, it's infeasible. It's impossible for you to get the same one-way visual hash for 2 different credit card numbers. So this is from Wikipedia. So again, few things: pre-image resistance. Given a hash, it's difficult for you to find the message, and given input, it would be difficult to find another input with the same hash. So, and no 2 different messages. In this case, no 2 different credit card numbers would have the same visual hash. So if you were to compare this visualize this with the hashes that work, so basically the digest that you get, you can correlate, I mean, you can see that this, instead of the digest that you would get something like this. Like I said, that it does not use any sort of, because I'm not the parameters that I'm using. It's not stored anywhere. It's implicit with the credit card number. And yeah, so the progress so far is it's not as mature. I've been working on this for, I've been working on this for 7-8 months, but I've been active on this for, like, let's say 1 or 2 months only. It's a completely novel idea. I need to work a little bit more on the algorithm. As I said that once I talked about few of the things that how do you differentiate when actually the algorithm is comparing, how does it compare whether these and this are different. So it's one of the things, the space between the lines that it takes care of, that it matches, apart from few other things that I'm actually tweaking. So yeah, that's the few references. I want to thank my director at the Information Security Institute because he sponsored me coming here, my coordinator, and I need some suggestions. If you can have, if you guys, yep, yeah, go ahead.
Here's Mike.
These are the references.
Either ask the questions in the mic or please repeat the questions if you don't use the mic, because we're recording this and having the answers without the questions is not pleasant.
Were those the URLs to the project?
Which URLs? These URLs? These are just the references. These, yeah, especially these definitions and all that. So, and also the few, yeah, these other references. I've mentioned it over here also. So, my main motive coming to this talk. Yeah.
If someone would want to look more into it, how are they able to contact you?
Pardon?
If someone were able to want to look more into this, how would they contact you?
I have my contact details at the beginning. Yeah, there you go. You can even give me a call, write me a mail, and because the thing is, I'm the only person who's working on this. I tried contacting my professors, but they are quite busy with their work and their company, so they're not able to give me proper time. So
it's obvious that you've put a lot of thought and work into this, and I don't want to like totally shut you down here. But
yeah.
Aren't you kind of rearranging deck chairs on the Titanic here? The idea of having a single number that is your financial information and providing that as a one-way access to any merchant, I feel is kind of a dead ideal. The going forward, the concept should be you have a financial identity that you provide to merchants, and then you have a secondary step of approval, so that you provide that identity to a merchant, make the purchase, and then a third party contacts you and says, did you authorize that? And say yes or no. And that can be done at the point of purchase.
Okay. So I'm trying how that can be done, but as of now, what I'm talking about is the credit card.
Securing data within the database.
It's basically you're securing everything on the. I'm basically talking at the database level. I'm not talking when the transaction is taking place. So.
Yeah, it's an industry thing. But even with this, if you're talking about a new imaging idea for credit cards, where you create a new image that you store that's a one-way hash. But even if you capture that one-way hash in transition, meaning that you've got Wireshark on a line that's capturing that as it's going to the financial institution, can't you then reverse engineer even that image to compare to the master database where the approval process happens? Which is why the two-factor, make the purchase, then do it is the more secure.
This is the process of rolling out EMV here in America.
Mm-hmm.
EMV has its own problems, but they're still working toward rolling out EMV totally in the United States. That eliminates some of the problems you're talking about, but like I said, EMV has its own problems that need to be fixed. I don't think they should be rolling it out as soon as they are, because it's still very young, it's not as mature as it should be. But the credit card industry is moving towards that, and in process it's
Okay, so basically, I'm not. Yeah, one thing. I mean, you gave a very good suggestion. I mean, about that, but as of now, I'm basically focusing on everything you're storing, the credit card number that you're storing on the database. I mean, that resides on the database. So I'm focusing on that because usually, I mean, most of the cases when you hear about it is like the keys getting compromised or the database getting compromised and hackers getting into the database and they have the hashes. I mean, they can have the hashes, but it's salted, so it makes it difficult to actually create the rainbow table for it. But I mean, still, they are what I've heard from people. What they usually say is most of the merchants, they basically rely on the perimeter security, the firewalls, IDS, IPS, and to actually secure their database. And once the database is compromised, I mean, everything's gone. So that's why you recently seen breach in Sony. So lots of credit card numbers were breached. So that's one thing. And so this was an idea that I thought I should be, I mean, working on. And I'm actually looking for, I mean, people, I'm open for people who are interested in working with me because I'm the only person, I mean, individually working on this. So I thought, I mean, I should share with. Also, I mean, I wanted to share a few more details in regards to the algorithm as such, but I mean, I thought it wouldn't be appropriate because I'm actually thinking of filing a patent for it. So if things come up, and also I presented a paper for this on Black Hat, which is going to be held in Abu Dhabi. So I'm going to get a reply from them tomorrow, I guess. So in regards to whether it's accepted or not. But let's see. Okay. That's it from me. Thank you so much.